happy 10-year anniversary today. Today's the day we celebrate our true beginnings. Now we celebrate together, and I will start this video. I'm Chase Ace 51272.0. Hey there everybody, and welcome to a very special video that I've got for you today. Before I begin, I'd just like to say thank you so much to each and every one of you who have contributed to the Baby Einstein community with videos such as Puppet Show remakes, song remakes, collection update videos, the whole 9 yards. It's just unbelievable to me that the Baby Einstein community has expanded to the point where it's at right now. Thank you so much to each and every one of you who have done such things, and I cannot be any happier. Today we've got a very special list video once again, and it's going to be my top 10 favorite Baby Einstein characters / animals. The format of this list will run similarly to my top 28 list, and I'll start once again by running through some more, say it with me now, clarifications. First and foremost, any characters that have been introduced to the new Kids 2 version of Baby Einstein will definitely not be on this list. We will only be focusing on characters that have been seen within the original classic Baby Einstein series. And this is another opinionated list as well, so you can bear with me as I run through the characters I've chosen and why I put them on each specific spot on this list. Some of you may agree, some of you may disagree. It's all a matter of opinion. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Here we go! Pavlov the dog. Just because his character's at number 10, that doesn't mean he's the worst one of them all. I like Pavlov the dog, especially in Neighborhood Animals, because he's always successfully putting a smile on everybody's face through his silly tactics. When he introduces some animals, he does it in a way that it not only makes the viewer potentially laugh, but he also shows how some of these animals behave in their natural environments. However, one thing I have against Pavlov is how his character designs continuously change throughout the series. We see his first design debut in Baby Newton, Baby Beethoven, and Numbers Nursery. Next, we see his second design debut in Baby Wordsworth and On the Go. Finally, we see his third design debut in Baby's Favorite Places. I don't have anything against the actual character designs, I'm just a little confused as to why they did not stick with a solid look for him overall. I understand that change could be a good thing, but I personally like the original Legends and Lore design of Pavlov. Rudy the Reindeer. Rudy is well known for being the main puppet in Baby Santa's music box, and Rudy does a lot of dancing to different Christmas carols and other traditional holiday themes. Unfortunately, Rudy is stuck in Santa's little green box throughout the majority of the video. I like this character because of some of these puppet shows, and my favorite one is where Rudy throws out a lot of tinsel from the box. I'm speculating that this was a way to express frustration from being stuck inside. In my opinion, I believe that Rudy deserves some more screen time throughout the rest of the series, and I don't think we've seen enough of Rudy. I know we did get some brief screen time from Rudy in Meet the Orchestra, but I feel like there was more potential. We do get some funny puppet shows from Joyce, the tan reindeer puppet, but they are two totally different characters and it doesn't feel the same to me personally. Da Vinci and Mimi the monkeys. These two characters, along with other puppets, help teach children different parts of the body in Baby Da Vinci. What I like about these two is that they are always trying to not only make themselves happy, but the viewers happy as well. I know there aren't many puppet shows between these two characters, but my favorite one is when they use their hands to say hello to each other, hug each other, and the best of all, tickle each other. When I first saw this scene as a kid, I was laughing almost as if I was being tickled by them as well. There is another puppet show with the two of them together, talking over the phone in Baby's First Sounds, but they're only introducing what the letter E sounds like. Overall, when these two characters are together, they're usually very eager to make each other happy. Isaac the Lion. Isaac is a friendly lion who is well known for being the lead puppet in Baby Newton, and he is the creator of the shape clown that helps introduce the shapes as seen in the video. One of my favorite moments with Isaac was when he was one of the puppets to burst through Nathan the horse's door when introducing the rectangle. I'm not sure about this, but I think he threw some confetti because he wanted to celebrate what it's like walking through a rectangular doorway. Anyway, we see him in other videos as well, such as Baby Beethoven and a second version of him at the end of Baby Noah. Personally, I like seeing him in Baby Newton the best because he knows how to get his puppet shows to maintain in shape. Me and my jokes. Jane the Monkey. Baby Doolittle World Animals is a great video, and it could not have been any better without Jane the Monkey as the lead puppet. Jane is a funny, adventurous character because she is always willing to explore different animals that we wouldn't normally see in everyday life. She's also really good at making others laugh. For example, Jane's first appearance is in Baby Shakespeare, and she is dancing while snowflakes are falling. However, it gets to a point where, out of nowhere, a random pile of snow falls right on top of her. Jane's puppet shows are both educational and funny to watch. However, as the Baby Einstein series continued, her puppet shows began to start feeling bland. Jane's appearance in Wild Animal Safari is a good example because her new puppet shows are either showing her behave like a different animal or looking at a picture of the animal at the time. Despite that, Jane is still expressing an educational way to show off other animals from around the world. The Yellow Duck. I tried the best I could to find the actual name of this character, but for some reason I was unable to find it. Anyway, the Yellow Duck has always been a funny character to me ever since I first watched Baby Van Gogh as a kid. The Yellow Duck would improve the painting every time Vincent van Gogh didn't finish. It is done in silly ways, and it was something I enjoyed watching as a kid. On the other hand, the duck's design changed when he debuted in Baby Newton, and I really like how that design stayed throughout most of the series. His design would soon change again in Meet the Orchestra, and it almost kind of resembles the original Legends and Lore puppet in my opinion. Despite the design changes, I really like how the duck's sense of humor and funny tactics progressed throughout the series. Another favorite puppet show that I liked seeing him in was when he tried to make a flower grow taller in Baby Neptune, but instead he was just pouring water on Neptune the turtle and he gave up and left. The Yellow Duck has many other funny moments in the series, and there are other funny characters like him, which you'll see very soon. Hugo Hippo. Hugo Hippo comes off as a character who is always trying to be serious and professional at everything that he does. However, there are moments in the series where Hugo's plans don't go as intended. For example, he has trouble trying to yawn properly in Baby Da Vinci. He can't concentrate on singing the way he wants to in Baby Noah. And he can't play the tuba without running into more problems in Meet the Orchestra. Whether or not you think Hugo is a serious character, it doesn't change the fact that he's an intriguing character as well. Hugo is understandably confused when something doesn't go right, but what makes it funny is the way he would react in these situations. He sometimes would not know how to handle them, and the results are very funny in my opinion. Overall, Hugo is one of the most interesting characters in the Baby Einstein series as a whole. Noah the Elephant. This puppet is, I believe, one of the most mischievous characters on this list. Noah has pulled some pranks on other puppets in the series, including Hugo Hippo. I know his pranks are very sly, but the puppet shows are still very funny every time we see Noah. One of my favorite moments with Noah is when he is dancing to Hugo singing and then kisses one of the hippos during his excitement. I was laughing so hard as a kid because the way that Noah laughed after the kiss really sold the scene for me. In fact, it is still funny thinking about that to this day. I feel like Noah's puppet shows should be educational to some degree as well, and we do get some moments like that in Baby Da Vinci. However, Noah still cannot help himself when it comes to being mischievous towards others. Vincent van Gogh. As most of you already know, this character is meant to portray one of the best artists of the 19th century, Vincent van Gogh. One thing that was inaccurate that I've noticed after rewatching Baby Van Gogh was that Vincent was speaking French, while the real Van Gogh was a Dutch artist. I'm speculating that this was done on purpose to provide a familiar stereotype for babies to understand. Aside from this, Vincent is another funny character who introduces colors in many silly ways. And my favorite moment with him is in the beginning of the video where he is splattered, covered in paint, acting crazy. There aren't many puppet shows with Vincent, however, we do see some other goat puppets as well, including Vivian Van Gogh, the pink one, and Theo Van Gogh, the tan one as seen in Baby McDonald. I really wish we got more puppet shows with Vincent because he had the potential to make us laugh with more silly tactics. However, he's still very memorable for what he has already done in Baby Van Gogh.
And now for the moment of truth.
Bard the Dragon. Bard is such a unique character to me personally because of his first appearance in Baby Mozart. I've said this once before and I will say it again. Who can forget the most iconic puppet show in the whole series? Bard is also the very first puppet to be introduced to the series overall. I can remember moments as a kid when I would not go one day without my Bard puppet at hand. Even when I'm feeling sick, I would always have him by my bedside at all times. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Bard has made the most appearances in any Baby Einstein video, and he got the most screen time in Baby Shakespeare as the lead puppet. Here's an interesting fact. Did you know that Bard got his name because William Shakespeare was known as the Bard of Avon, more commonly known as the Bard? Shakespeare was England's national playwright and poet because he had created the most works of any poet at the time. Bard the Dragon, on the other hand, has had many great moments in other videos as well, including Baby Santa's Music Box, World Music, and World of Words. He also appears at the end of the video tutorial in every 2000 through 2002 VHS, except for Baby Newton and Baby Beethoven. I really like how Bard became an iconic symbol for Baby Einstein. He will always be one of a kind to me, and he continues to hold so many memories from my childhood. Alright everyone, I hope you all enjoyed watching this special video. Before I go, I'd like to once again say thank you so much for celebrating 10 years of the Baby Einstein community with me. I still can't put into words how amazing this is, and I can't believe I've been on YouTube for so long now. It's just crazy to me. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. If you are interested in seeing more amazing content from this channel, you can always click on my last video, and you can always click on a list of other videos that I have for you as well. And just in case if you haven't already, you can always click on the subscribe button on the screen as well in order to show your support. And until then everybody, happy 10-year anniversary, and I will see you all in my next video.